Yeah. So many flight books, it's a library. I be in that Dior. Just took a flight to Bora and foreign cars like foreigners. Burberry on her. Up in France with Bonjour. I be in Conde Garçon. We going past the mall. Only pass carrots, spin at the mall. We do the same along. Madame, we sing. Add some more change. That's a sing along. Dripping all the way from home at St. Laurent. Some of the flight books, a library. We ain't flying solo. Tune in to the show. It's the Passport Bros. No excuse entertainment. It's no excuse in the show. Turn it up some more. It's the Passport Bros. No competition. Fuck around and get dizzy. All this money we spending. Javinci. Got Javinci on bitches. Got bitches on bitches. The bitches on bitches. Gucci in the sand. Emilio Pucci bag. Fill it with cash. When I ball to travel, I don't dribble and pass. When I'm fucking on a Venezuelan, I'm a Martian, I'm an alien. Took off landed Africa. Big stepping like an elephant. Blood diamond, but he delicate. That's more I'm from, I'm Henderson. Bought a jet for my residence. Best friends with that president, bitch.
What's good, man? Long time, man. So this your boy No Excuse, man. Welcomes to Passport Bros podcast, man. Man, I appreciate people that's been reaching out, man. You know, they be like, man, you need to get back in these YouTube streets. You know, people not really talking about anything substantive. So, you know, I'm doing a stream today and I'm doing a stream tomorrow on my other channel. But yeah, I want to talk about, you know, how your boy No Excuse is on the Snow Bunnies now. And it's gonna have to be part of past Port Bros 2.0. Let me see who in the building real quick. Man, always a pleasure, man. The homie Ronin Travelers, man. Yes, please hit the like and subscribe. Appreciate you, bro. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My man doing his thing down in the Philippines, man. Yes, sir. I'm coming to Thailand in November, man. You know, maybe you could come, you know, come check, come link up with some bros in Thailand. Drew, what's good, man? Oh yeah, y'all did a long stream. Yeah, nothing wrong with the snow bunny action, bro. Man, you know, Dr. Umar, man, he's gonna have a problem with this, man. But you know, a couple things. So it's kind of ironic. I'm gonna see if I can find this post real quick. Because you know, I seen a post maybe a few weeks ago from Minister Jack. Now he be you know he be hard on the passport bros a lot, you know. And he had mentioned on a post, he was like, man, brothers, I have no issue with y'all having babies with women of other races. He was like, these the black women in the U.S. is cooked as far as it's concerned with like dating and relationships. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I love my sisters. You know what I mean? You know, any anytime we want to stand for civil, you know, people attacking our culture, like I'm totally, you know, behind it. But like dating relationships is just his own little issue. But Minister Jap said, you know, guys might have to procreate with other races, you know, and it's got to that point, you know. Um, Now, those who missed the end of the year stream, just to kind of familiarize, so you know, Passport Bro 2.0 is what pretty. I'm sorry, Passport Bro 1.0, which I kind of put from 2015 to the end of 2024. You know, that's kind of like the start of the Charles Tyler era. You know, a lot of people that you probably know, Austin Holloman's. You know, a lot of people in between that time, contributed to the space, which I call Passport Bro 1.0. And 1.0 was basically Latin American countries for the most part. I mean, you can say, Thailand, yeah, Thailand too, but yeah, 1.0 was definitely Latin America, most notably Brazil, Colombia, and DR. Obviously, brothers were hitting up other countries in between, whether it was Costa Rica, whether it was Peru, Ecuador, whatever. And then, people was hitting up Southeast Asia, most notably Philippines and Thailand. So that's pretty much 1.0, the first 10 years of, I would call, the Passport Bro movement. Now, it wasn't always called the Passport Bro movement during Charles Tyler's time, but, once the Passport Bros hashtag got popular, then we're calling 1.0 the Passport Bros. We're calling 2015 to 2024 1.0. 2.0, and I am, by me being one of the forefronts of the movement, and I travel a lot, and I watch a lot, and I see a lot, and I know pretty much who's who in the space. The trend now has been Africa for the most part. The new trend. A lot of creators have hit up different parts of Africa, South Africa, East Africa mostly, or Southern Africa, East Africa mostly, and there's a lot of exploration to do. There's a lot of intel. There's a lot of information. There's a lot to cover. So 2.0 is going to be, which I call the next 9 years. So we're pretty much in the first year of 2.0. And I was doing some thinking. I'm like, man. So let me get to how I got to the snow bunnies. How I'm on the snow bunnies, and I said it's over with for Latin America. Let me see who we got in the chat real quick. Ellis was good. He said Umar gave me a bunny pass. Oh man, that's funny. He said, "No, F Dr. Umar something." He said 1.0 has to be pre-COVID. Mm. I mean, I thought about looking at it from that aspect, but it's easier to kind of section things off in increments of like 5 to make it more simple. You know what I mean? 05, 10, 15. So it's just easy to compartmentalize on that. But I get what you're saying, though. Garfield says, snow bunnies, ski chick, winter fashion. He said, post-COVID, we got an influx of travel and all the different travelers' passport sets included. Yeah, I mean, it's a buffer period. It's a buffer period. He said, he said, I just got flamed on Twitter for talking about snow. Really? He said, okay, he's talking to somebody else. And Eastern Europe is still underrated, it seems, especially the Balkan region. Yeah, it's a lot of, I mean, it's the war is going on right now. It is making Eastern Europe kind of hot, man. So this is why I said it's over with for Latin America. Now, those that know, I extensively traveled throughout Brazil, 15 cities now, 15 cities Brazil, 14 cities Colombia. I've been to over 6 different cities in DR, if you want to count that. I was married to a Colombiana, and that didn't work out, unfortunately. And since it's been a lot of time, I've kind of had more time to reflect and just kind of kind of got a better understanding on her perspective, and I talked about this a lot, but what in totality, what exists in Latin America is a very liberal society, a very feminist society, and depending on your personality type, um, if you're more of the I'm just going to use the word chauvinistic side, or when people say misogynist side. If you have those more characteristics, you might not be really as compatible with Latinas as other brothers would. You know what I mean? So you can still find great women in Latin America and stuff like that, but it just depends on the type of man you are. You know what I mean? Some men are built for Latinas, and some men are not. It doesn't make the men that are built for Latinos doesn't make them less alpha or less masculine or beta or anything like that. It just means that they just have a different style of leadership, which is okay. But for me, it's not for me. And then but I don't want to get too far off. Um, but yeah, I still do plan on like visiting Colombia last time. I got some loose ends I got to tie up there, and I wanted to still kind of keep Latin America like in. I still wanted to keep an option in Latin America because I want something close to the U.S. Traveling to Africa is far and it's expensive, so I was like, I gotta have a country to frequent in Latin America, and so it was going to be Cuba. It was going to be Cuba, and I've been thinking about going, planning going. Salute to Check It Effects. He went to one of the cities that I was very interested in. And I started looking into, well, one, I was looking into the weather. It's hot as hell in the summer. I want to come in the summer. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go in like January, February. And then one of my friends, he sent me um, this updated story with Trump. Trump is trying to, Trump signed a memorandum on Cuba as far as he's going to enforce or be more vigilant and stricter on people traveling to Cuba on tourism. Now we know people have always kind of blurred the lines traveling to Cuba, and I'm sure people can still get away with traveling to Cuba, but me just kind of looking at things just from a risk analysis and seeing, a lot of people have kind of played with Trump and thinking he's not serious about stuff. And I want to just take the side of a caution and say, you know what, I don't want to even blur the lines to even put a target on me for no reason, and so I was like, I just I'm just gonna have to just chill on like trying to really go to Cuba, because like if I go to Cuba, like I want to travel, and then I'm a content creator too, so it's not like I'm gonna go to Cuba and keep quiet. I'm gonna go to Cuba and post videos, and then it's gonna be up to somebody's interpretation whether it was tourism or educational purposes, which is really educational purposes at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But so it's just too many blurred lines, and so I said, you know what, I'm gonna just hold off on Cuba. So I was like, shit, if I can't, if I have shut myself out of Latin America and I'm already traveling to Africa, I'm like, what? All right, so what's next, man? I know what Asia hitting for. I was like, I've never been to Europe, so a couple of things that motivated me, because I'm, to be honest with you, there are some attractive white girls, but they just haven't been my first option, because I like big booty sisters. I like big booty sisters, man. But there's some snow bunnies that got some big booties too. Um, Let me catch up real quick before I continue. Keys was good. Said tuned in. Always good. See, Garfield said, no excuse, the euro is stronger than the dollar. Okay, okay. Yeah, I know it's gonna be expensive. He said 80% of Colombian women under the age of 25 are single mom. Yeah, they do got a lot of single mothers, man, and they cool with it too. I met a couple of chicks in Colombia said, I could be them, I could be the mama and the father. When you hear stuff like that, and let me know if I got any background noise, because I got this AC on. Hopefully I'm not. Hopefully, it's not no interference, or else I'll turn it off. He said, "I could see why we could be done on Latin America. I think we love it there because it's close to yours, and obviously their beauty. That's true. That is true. Yes, 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 man. Please hit the like, man. Get more people in the building." Buck said the good thing about messing with a snowbunny that they already have their own money. Heck, the euro is stronger than a dollar. Man, we gonna get into their own money, man. He's a Latin America's dead to me. Too much crime. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Crime, scams. Salute to the newer people though that's traveling. They're gonna have a different perspective. They're gonna come in with they're going into these countries with different challenges, and they're how should I say, they're moving accordingly. He said, I think the further you travel, the better you are. He said a lot of people can't really go to Europe because of the money. So we gonna get on money because I know some guys. We're gonna get on money. A lot of guys I know that mess with white girls don't got money. Listen, a lot of black, I ain't gonna say a lot. All the black dudes I know that mess with white girls don't got money. So you saying money an issue? Listen, 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 listen. All right. So I said it's over with for Latin America. It's over with. So one of my guys, he sent me a an interview, one of the YouTubers, International Passport. So those that don't know, some of y'all know International Passport. He never shows his face. He always does lives interviewing people traveling. So he interviewed this guy that went to Sweden. And so, I really wasn't trying to hear, but I was like, let me listen to what this guy got to say. This dude was just like, he had one of the best experiences of his life. He was just talking about where he stayed, where the clubs he went to, what I mean, how, the girls in Sweden was approaching him. Where you at? I want to come through. They just want to, casual date, as I say, or casual date. And he was just very, very, very descriptive on his experience. And I've heard of other guys saying things about like Sweden, for example. I've heard different reviews, but overwhelmingly, a lot of black men have said that they have been well received by women in Sweden, for example. And so, but when I heard this guy interview on International Passport, it made me think like, I mean, he not capping. He not capping. And he has receipts and things like that. So it's been on my it was like on my radar. I was like, okay, maybe if I get time. And then this is what really said, you know what, I'm doing it. I'm gonna pull it. So I was watching this debate with Candace Owens. It was, if you like Google YouTube later and just do Candace Owens versus 20 feminists, right? So she did like this little speed debate with different feminists, right? And one lady she was talking to, they were talking about like the sexual revolution, and sexual liberation. And she was just saying like, they were just talking about the happiest places. Let me post it. They was talking about the countries where women are the happiest, and they were these Nordic countries, right? So I'm gonna leave this up for a second. It was these Nordic countries, and if anyone's familiar with the feminist movement and sexual liberation, it means that they are not allowing themselves to be shamed to have sex freely, who they want, how many guys they want, blah blah blah. Andrew Tate, I think he had did an interview with a lady. She was like this corn star, and I think she's trying to have like she's trying to have like the world record of having the most sex with men, right? But that's sexual liberation. And so I've always been aware of, feminists and, being sexually promiscuous without shame, or the key word they kept saying in the Candace Owens video was that Candace Owens was saying, why are feminists are having sex for free? She kept using for free. And what she meant by that was that not prostitution, but she was saying that, you know, if you take away feminism, most women require you to spend some type of money before you get access to sex, whether that's dating, taking them out on dates, buying gifts, marriage, anything that require, money has to be spent by a man to get access to sex. And what Candace Owens was saying, like, you guys are giving men sex for free. And the feminist this was the first time I was really like kind of agreeing with feminists, because they were like, yeah, so what? So what? We can have sex and ghost the dude. We can have sex with anybody we want to without attachment or commitment. And for a long time, I wasn't looking at it as a good thing, but not, well, I was looking at it as a bad thing. But then now it's like, well, maybe that's not so bad. Maybe that's not so bad. I wouldn't want to mess with white girls in the U.S. because there's always, you see allegations, you see Shannon Sharp. It's always something, but I deal with them far away. And so these are the countries that were mentioned, the Nordic countries: Finland, Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, and Norway. So we're gonna get back to that. So what they were saying was that women approach men that they're interested in. Women are aggressive, forthcoming, and this was confirmed by women in the U.S. So I said I got confirmation from men that been to these countries. Now women are saying that. Now women are confirming the sexual liberation in these countries. It has to be true. It has to be true. So I said, you know what? Snow bunnies have to be in 2.0, because you guys traveling for pay for play in Latin America, have yourself at it. Always talked about Brazil has no strings attached relationships, which is which is cool. Brazil does have no string attached relationships. Outside of Rio de Janeiro. But the biggest problem with Brazil, as everybody knows, is the language barrier. That's just gonna be on Shanshar Warner Court. That's just gonna be the biggest thing. Now I don't know what the language barriers are gonna be in these Nordic countries, but most European countries have most Europeans typically speak more than one language, and usually English is one of them. So I'm including Snow Bunnies and Passport Bros 2.0. This will be a let me I am opening it up, man, for people that want to come up. Open panel, chop it up. Let me catch up on some of these comments real quick. Let's see where our last was at. Yeah, a lot of people can't go to Europe because of the money. However, I don't know. I have seen cheap flights going from the U. I have seen cheap flights going from the U.S. to Europe on occasion. I have seen specials cheaper than going to Africa. Cheaper than going to Africa. But I mean, you might catch a white girl that might buy your flight If you that guy, let's see. Rona said he's trying to find 250K for Cuba travelers. That's crazy. I thought it was less than that though. I thought it was less than that. I thought it was like 25K. I don't think it's 250K. I think it's 25K. Boat Travel said, I noticed the snow bunnies in Europe are easy to talk to. Now, who said this? Now, one of my guys, you know, Jay Focus, he was putting me on game, and I gotta interview Jay Focus. I gotta have him on the stream soon. But he was telling me that don't get thrown off by the beauty and the women, giving it up like that. If he was saying like, if he was like, I know you, bro. He was like, if you have a conversation with a woman there, he was like, they love talking about how much power, they love talking about feminism in these countries. And so like, he was like, a conversation may turn you off. And then if you get into like trying to debate one of their ideologies, he said the pussy gonna dry up. So see, he was like, you have to refrain from even kind of getting into those conversations. And it's kind of hard to see because when I think of some of these let's say these blue-eyed, pretty blonde girls, like they don't come off as looking mean or masculine. They look very feminine. And so, I can't imagine them talking in a way that would like turn me off. But he just said, be mindful, of the conversations that they come up. And the reason why those countries women are happy is because men have conceded, they have conformed. That is another reason why women, they damn near brag about it out there. Men have conformed, they have conceded. That's the difference between them and the U.S. We have feminism, and the reason why feminists are not they say feminists are not happy here is because most men in the U.S. have not conformed. So feminists are mad because it's not working for them how they want it to work. So they're mad, they're crashing out, depression, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, the list goes on. It's because, most women crash out when they can't get their way with men. That's just something I've seen in family, everywhere. That's a different conversation. But the feminists in Europe, or at least in those countries in Europe, are happy because men have they've given up. Rona said now started a 1-year lease on a property here. Okay. In the Philippines, that's what's up. Damien said Philippines is a step down. Even Latin America. Oh man. He said my body, my choice is sexual. Yeah, hey. Yes, sir. Promiscuity is rampant in Latin America, not a good place to find wives. He said, what up, Keith? What's good? Man. I still want to hit El Salvador, but I just don't want to go solo. Shannon Sharp just won in court. And that's good, man. He said, I can deal with a white girl here, but not in the U.S. I agree with you on that. He said, while finally someone speaking about that guy, he never, ever shows his face yet. Let's see. I know a brother that used to go to school with. He's married to Australian Snow Bunny and moved to Australia. Wow. He said, all facts. I've had many British and German love him. He said, the best thing about European snow bunnies is that they don't have the same toxic culture requirement as in Latin America, Southeast Asia, and Africa, the man being asked to pay. Yeah, man, a lot of guys that talked about these countries, though, they said women openly initiated just paying. And, women in America, you know, especially from our community, they be like, they call you cheap, 50-50, like, how is the guy trying to win me over if he don't want to pay? But they see this is the thing. That's the thing with like the women in our community. Like they play both sides. They play feminine. They want to be feminists, right? But then they don't want to be. They don't want to do it all. They don't. They're not doing it all the way. They're not trying to pay for dates. They're not trying to. I don't want to say they don't. They do casual hookups, but it's just with certain with certain men. I'll just say that. But they're not trying to pay for anything. So white girls have been known, at least for black guys, you know, in general, to be willing to pay. So I have never, as much as I traveled, maybe one time a chick, I have never had a chick like pay for internationally a date. Whether we went out to eat, got drinks, not even not even like this. Not that I would want them to, right? Because I like to spend money. I like to do things that require money when I travel out the country. So, but I've never experienced that. The closest thing I experienced, maybe a couple of times in DR, maybe a couple of times in Latin America, where a chick paid for her own Uber and she didn't want the money back. She was like, she good. She paid for her own transportation. That's the extent of a woman just kind of spending her own money. But like just anything else, nah. But these guys are saying like these women in Europe, they don't mind paying. They insist on paying. I don't even know what that feels like. I don't even know how I would receive that. You know, I could, some guy, the sad thing about it is, a lot of times, like when you experience something, whether it's the first time or it's been a long time for the first time, sometimes you kind of, what's the word I want to say? You could fall in love with that, right? Let's say a woman has never did something sexual before for you, and this happened. Now you have this love for this woman because you're like, wow, she's rare. That's your mind, like she's rare. And so I could. There's probably guys that probably be like, man, like she done took me out. We done went back to the crib. We done smashed. Um, she looked good. And he like, I'm in love. And one thing I be seeing in these feminists like TikToks, they always be joking. Well, at least the black one, they always joking like, I hope he don't try to call me, or I hope he don't try to spend the night. Like they be wanting to pump and dump for the most part. So I'm curious. I'm kind of curious on that aspect because what I've seen, at least in the U.S., guys that I know mess with white girls, like they typically catch feelings, you know. So I don't know how the women in Europe would be. I don't know if they'll be, BBC or something that they not used to that's they're not used to seeing in their country or city. Could they get attached? I don't know. I'm curious about that. Garfield said everybody's talking about Colombia, no excuse, but no one is really talking about Argentina. Yeah, I mean Venezuela. Can't nobody really go to Venezuela. That's one reason. And Argentina, I know people that's been there, but it's I mean I've heard intel good and bad, but it's just not enough things that's motivating people to go. That's why. Um, travel is like travel is like I hope that's not a bad analogy, but travel and intel is like how roaches operate, right? Roaches will send a few people out and they report back, and if it's popping, if it's popping, you're gonna see more roaches. If it's worth them coming back, you're gonna see more roaches. If it ain't nothing really popping, then you're not gonna see more activity. So to make a long story short, there's just a few people. There's just a few people that go, and it's just not enough intel that gets back to make people want to just go to those countries. Buck Trout said International Passport has a lot of guests who's been to Sweden, and he has interviewed all of them. All of them had success over there. Yeah, it's time to go. I don't know. I haven't really seen people, at least in this space, even like maybe I have to ask Check. I don't know if he's been to the Nordic countries. Now I know people have been to Germany, the UK. I'm not talking about those countries. I'm talking about the ultra, liberal feminist countries that get little black travel or have a small black population. He said, "Will you move your future Ethiopian wife to Philly due to better education and infrastructure?" Wow. Well, if I married or had intention on marrying an Ethiopian woman when I move her back to the States, um, put it like this: I wouldn't consider marrying somebody that I wouldn't want to move to the States. You know what I mean? So if I find somebody that I feel like checks the necessary boxes, I I'm definitely not opposed to it. I'm always gonna try the option of you know keeping her in their country, but I'm not gonna do that at the expense of things not working. You know what I mean? So that's only because I still want to live in the U.S. If I didn't want to live in the U.S. at all, then it wouldn't be even a conversation. But I think I said this before. Like my ideal situation is to live in the U.S. for 6 months, live in her country in 6 months. That's my ideal. That would be my ideal situation, and not six continuous months. It could be like three. It could be like 3 months here, 3 months there, three. It could be something like that. Key said, from a scale of 1 to 100, what's the begging meter? If y'all see no community posts, that's just the ones that I actually captured. It's been a lot. I've probably done blocked and deleted the messages, but the begging is up and down. Sometimes I notice it depends on where you meet them. So like I use Kenya for example, right? If you use if you meet women off Afro introduction, you're gonna get a lot more begging than those that's on Tinder. I don't know why. That's just my observation. Um, most I would say 90, 100% of women I met in Rwanda eventually asked for something. It may have not been right away. It may have been after we met in person, but they eventually asked for something. Uh, Tanzania, not as much. Surprisingly, yeah, I had some chicks ask me for money in Tanzania, but not all of them. Kenya definitely. Uganda the same. South Africa not really. If you want to put it in perspective, but on two hands, like yeah, people are hurting. People are gonna be broken hurting for money. There's people broken hurting for money in the U.S. Um, I'm not. Uh, I'm understanding that people need money every day. You know what I mean? So if and then if you really in need, you gonna ask. So I understand that. It's just that everybody hurting. You know what I mean? But that. I mean that's expected when you travel to some of these countries. A lot of people are hurt. Men too. You know men. You know men that help you with your bags, or you may meet somebody cool that show you where the clubs at. Everybody got their hand out. So it's like on one like can I really complain? But then at the same time, like there's countries in Latin America where people are a little bit more prideful on asking for money too. You know, but yeah, it's crazy. It's up there. It's up there with DR in a lot of instances. He said, yes, the snowboarders in Europe are checking for us. We have the biggest American base in Germany and lots of military brothers married to German. Somebody had mixed kids. Yeah, I need this. I'm gonna go to Germany just to see what the phenotype is. Like I've seen pictures and like the look, the type of I would say white girl that I would find attractive. I just haven't seen that in the German phenotype. My phenotype of white girls that I find attractive would be more like, whew, man, if you guys ever been to like Alabama, let's say I'm gonna just say Alabama. Have you ever been to like colleges like Auburn? I'm gonna just say Alabama, right? They got some pretty white girls, curvy, um, clear skin, blonde hair. I do like brunettes. I don't really like the black hair. Chicks with black hair. I feel like they're Latin, more Latina or something like that. But I have a certain type of look. I'm just gonna say that. He said marry a Polish woman. Man, polygamy is not legal in the U.S. You know, I kind of I kind of moved away from the polygamy because it's like I think I mentioned it before. Polygamy more I feel like benefits women more than men. Pan Africanism was good. He said traveling is slowing down because of inflation and cost of living. Going to Africa, yeah, it is. It is, man. I mean, I got back here in May. My next trip is gonna be in September. So that's a decent May 4, 9. No, yeah, 4 months is a long gap for me. Yeah, and I got a stack. I'm like, shit, I gotta get back to work. I gotta just chill. I gotta sit my ass down, man. Yeah, it's expensive. If you want to go outside of Latin America, yeah, it's definitely expensive. Dr. Brown said, financially, European women, especially German women, financially, they got that bag, huh? I know Australians got that bag. They make more money than Americans. He said, if you're planning to have a family, do you consider the cost of school for children? No, I don't really consider that. I mean, if I was having kids in another country, like I definitely wouldn't um really, I would be able to afford private education to a school in another country. I do believe in homeschooling too, if I had the time. I do believe in schooling. It just depends on the type of the type of woman I had a child with. If she was educated where she can homeschool like the younger, at the younger, at a younger age for children, you know. So yeah, I don't really look into that cost of schooling um, for a lot of reasons. Home, the option of homeschooling being one of them. He said, brothers forget that there are African sisters in Europe, especially Germany. You right. You right. Now the baddies I seen. Let me take a step back. I seen some baddies from the UK for sure. Even though I'm not trying to go to the UK, I've seen some baddies. But I also seen baddies in other parts of Europe, like you said, women from Sudan. See, we don't see a lot of in the US unless you live in certain cities. Like you don't see a lot of Sudanese chicks. Like I started seeing Sudanese chicks traveling through like Kenya, and I see them on social media, and they mostly live in like European cities. You got more access to different types of black women in Europe. I can see that you don't necessarily see in the U.S. You got access to a lot. Egyptian, um, Arab chick. You got so much access, and I'm just speculating because I never stayed in a European city. I never visited a European city. Just airport transport, and you're gonna see baddies at the airport too. So I could just imagine what type of African sisters that you may meet up to, and they might not be used to running into guys with dollars like that. They might not be. They might be more appreciative knowing that you can afford to take them out on a decent restaurant. They might appreciate it more than a sister on the continent. I don't know. I see African women in Thailand too, which whew, Thailand is coming. Bangkok, man. I got more excited about Thailand seeing some baddies. Not Pattaya, but Bangkok. I seen some baddies, some Africans in Bangkok. You know what they doing. Well, you know what they doing out there, obviously, but I got some nice ones. He said, "You're really Latin America is over with, man. As a single man is over with. But yeah, I mean, if I have you know if I have somebody special that I want to travel with, yeah, I'll travel with a baddie to Brazil or Colombia or DR all day. Mexico, I'll travel with a baddie in Latin America. But as far as like just solo, it's over with. Mixed looking. Yeah, hold on. I don't know if that responds to, but yeah, it's mixed looking chicks in Europe, if that's what you're referring to. Big Mike, he said you're gonna like the Netherlands. The women are tall, ooh, curvy and blonde. Mm 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 mm. I can't. Now, those who've been there, let me ask y'all this, because how guys are describing these European places, it just sounds like you can just show up. You ain't got a pipeline. You can go to the club and it's game over. You can walk at the mall. Like I know myself, right? And a lot of guys be like, hey, man, they be like, man, you tall, you dark skinned. Cause I got a lot of light skinned homies. They was like, man, they was like, we do okay, man, with the white girls, but they was like, you they type, bro. And they be like, man, I wish they be mad at me. They be like, man, I wish they be want me to talk to white girls. They be like, man, go just talk to her. Cause they be want to live vicariously through me. You know what I mean? So I could just, I gotta see what this reception gonna be like, man. I gotta see what this reception gonna be like. But whew, mm, mm, mm. I've been with a few white girls before in the U.S. and yeah, it was definitely a good experience. Definitely an experience. Charles said a lot of y'all still on that polygamy fast, so y'all gotta get the probably that's true. You can't be a polygamist till you get that first one, man. You know. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about polygamy. If you're not a Muslim, if polygamy conversation only be tied to what Islam conversation. You said my dream spot would be Italy. Okay, honestly, I think Black and Italy make the best mixed berries. Okay, the food is bomb and great location. Okay, that'll be dope, man. You know, I never, Italian women have never been the beauty standard for white women historically, but I've heard that Italy got some baddies, so that'll be curious to know. Big Mike said African men in Europe claim Black American. They do it in South Africa. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, man. Let's see. Let me pull up this map real quick, cause y'all talking about countries. Y'all talking about the European countries. I'm not even trying to go to. Let's see real quick. Hold on, let me read this. He said, "One said homeschool is more applicable than." Oh, he said homeschooling is more applicable than ever with the state of public school. Yeah, yeah, that's true. He said, Charles said, you don't travel to Europe for black women. Y'all constantly do that. It is mind boggling. Charles like, man, y'all niggas need to stop. Where's my, damn, I used to have this clip, man. I'll find it later, man. But he said, stop that, man. All right, let's look up this map real quick. Let's look at this map real quick. Make sure y'all can see it on y'all end. All right, let's make me a little bit smaller and put me at the bottom. All right. So hopefully y'all can see this, man. So here is basically Europe, right? You got. Let me zoom in real quick. Let me do one zoom. All right. So you got the UK over here, and then a lot of guys they're talking about Germany right here, and okay, Switzerland is down here by France. Okay, Italy. Now, in my opinion, right, just from my experience on Earth, my opinion is that, or just from me, Tinder locations, interactions, etc. France has never been a place that has been known for guys to get women there. Um, Italy is just hasn't really been traveled to like that. Spain, which is down here, Spain and Portugal, definitely haven't got a lot of positive feedback. So this is just basically South Europe, France, Italy, the Swiss. I don't really hear too much about, but yeah, I hear a lot about Germany, and then we got the Netherlands. Um, Amsterdam is in what country? Is that the Netherlands? But basically, all these countries south of Denmark, a lot of guys, a lot of brothers have checked out. Some of these Eastern European countries, not as much, but definitely from Germany to the UK, a lot of guys have explored. Now the Nordic countries, let me go up. Now the Nordic countries, what's called the Nordic countries, are these big ass countries far north. They get cold as hell. Um, so you do want to go at a good time. Let me zoom in from this angle. So you got these three countries far north: Norway, Sweden, and Finland. And then you got Denmark down here. So what was the other one? It was five countries. What was the other country? It was hold on. It was Finland, Denmark, Iceland. Who the fuck goes to Iceland? Where is Iceland at? God damn, Iceland right here. Shit. Well, Iceland is supposed to look nice. So those that didn't learn geography, Greenland is Greenland is what looks like ice, and Iceland is what looks green. You know, but these are the countries I'm willing to check out on the behalf of the Passport Bros. Sweden is definitely gonna be first because I hear that a lot, and maybe it might be worth visiting two cities in Sweden because sometimes the major city or the sometimes the major city be it can be hit or miss. So I'm gonna try to give a balanced approach and visit two cities in each of these countries. Now I did put a see y'all being cheap. I did put a super chat goal. I forgot to mention that. See, my super chat goal was 20 super chats, and I will make my next trip in September to to one of these countries. I will scrap Africa and I will go to one of these countries. He said though yeah, Dame said those Bangkok African women are bad. Yes they are. Yes they are. Charles said Latin America is over with only for you. You right about that. You right about that. But there's a lot of people that shares the same. You know, I always like to say I am a popular opinion, and that could mean 51%, right? Big Mike said I've been to Europe. The women are approachable and easier to talk to. It's not like the States. There's videos, even Asian dudes going to Europe and having success over there. I seen a video. I don't know if it was on IG or TikTok, but they were saying like all these European women were flying to China to get husbands. They were they were like really they want to get married, and obviously it's some financial motivation, but that was kind of a new thing. It was kind of like matchmaking, but it was flocks of women from Europe, eager and happy, and they're moving to China. Some of them are learning Mandarin, starting families, and these are mostly women coming from like Eastern Europe. But I was just like, wow, women there are women in Europe that's looking for marriage. At least it looks like at least it's coming out of Eastern Europe. But yeah, man, it's definitely I feel like Europe is definitely underexplored in a space. So that's why I'm putting it in 2.0. He said, "Yep, it's easy in Europe, no pipeline and needed. The issue is how expensive it is for Europe. That's the real barrier." Let's try to think about the cost. So you got the flights, right? So I won't really count flights. Now I don't know. I know some of these countries in Europe you can travel through like trains, right? I know people them country hop traveling through trains. So do these are there trains that go to some of these that go to every country in Europe or just certain countries? Because I could be on a train for like 12 hours and chill to cut on transportation costs. Now, when it comes to like hotels, it's gonna be, it's probably gonna be U.S. prices, 200 a night, 175 a night, 250 a night. So I could see how the cost with that. That's why I think some people do the hostels out there. I don't know if I would want to do hostels in Europe because I want to have a spot for somebody to come back and chill with. So I think that is a legitimate point about cost, but we can figure that out. We can figure that out. Maybe it might be better to do it as a boys trip. You guys can get a nice spot. Everybody split it. Um, yeah, the hotel's just gonna be. that's gonna be taxing. Or it might just have to be a short trip. It might just have to be a short trip, you know. So I'm gonna kind of figure out the cost and logistics once I start planning. He said, try Morocco for exotic women from white to black. Yeah, Morocco is on my list for sure. He said, no, historically, Italian women have been the standard promise sample. Sophia Loren. Okay. Well, I think, and maybe it's something the QB said about Mexican women. Because, when people think of Mexican women, they have a certain visual in their head based on what they see in the United States. But if you go to Mexico, you see a whole different type. You see an array of type of women. And my experience seeing Italian women on the East Coast have not really been, Miss 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 America or Miss Universe quality looking women, but they may look different in a country. They may look different in the country, but based on what I've seen here, I just haven't seen it. Said Greece has some nice blondes too. Y'all some bunny experts in this mud, man. Y'all some bunny experts, man. Let me know if anybody want to come up, if they want to add anything real quick. Man, when I made this string, I said there's certain people I know that's gonna come up. I just knew it. I was like, I knew it, man. I was like, I know Charles gonna be in the building, man. He talking about the bunnies a lot. He said, I'm looking at lower recent content in Europe right now. He didn't show us once nobody. He's showing. Well, he in London. He in London. So obviously, it's more white people in London, but he's probably gonna go to places that he researched or recommended. So yeah, hopefully there's some bad Afro women though. Hopefully it's a bad. I don't seen they got some fine women in London, in London for sure. But I wouldn't go to the UK for snow bunnies. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Morocco definitely has stunners, but it's a Muslim country. That's a serious barrier for itself, for the typical passport, bro. He said, bro, French women are literally number one, has a reputation for beautiful women. Buck in the building, reputation for beautiful women for a reason. You don't hear too much about Italy. Good, more from me. Is that you, Buck?
Hey, salute. This me.
Oh, okay. What's good, man?
Hey, man, what's the word?
Man, chilling, man. Trying to get back out here in these YouTube streets, man.
Yeah, you've been traveling for the last what is it? Couple weeks? Something, or you just you didn't say you got back in what is it? April, May? You said.
I got back from traveling the end of May.
Okay.
Yeah. You been to Europe before, or you been to any country in Europe?
No, I haven't been actually. That's why I came on the panel, or why I came in this chat. I'm actually planning to go to Europe this December. So I was thinking about like which European countries to hit, like asking the chat or anybody who've been there, because so far I'm hearing a lot of good things about Germany. A lot of good things about Germany, about how guys go over there, they have success, and I also have heard a lot of good things about Sweden. So I kind of want to check out those parts. Here's the thing. I've dealt with European women, but as a tourist when they were in Latin America, because like sometimes like I talk to those tourist girls and all that, bro. They're more approachable and easier to talk to. Like they don't. What I found out is like they're not standoffish as American women. So you can go ahead, shoot your shot, and do all that. They're kind of. It's like I feel like they're more approachable than American women. So yeah. So
Okay. Yeah, man. It's yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. The only thing about Germany, well, I'm surprised people still talking about Germany because I thought it was kind of like had its time. Like I thought it was probably overran, like they used to seeing a lot of black guys, but it sounded like people still, sound like it hasn't fell off.
who is it? I mean, is it really big as like the big four? Like, is it? Because like I still don't feel like not a lot of my guys in this space are going to Europe overall compared to the big four of Thailand, Brazil, and Colombia and DR. So you know,
Now, I know Skyler was in. I know when he was active. I know he was in Europe, but I don't really know if his European experience really motivated people to go to Europe. I know his Brazil experience motivated people to go to Brazil, but I'm not sure about how influential his experience in Europe was. Trying to think who else did a lot of time in Europe. I
um,
don't really know.
you watch the guy Tobias the Traveler?
I've checked them out a couple times.
Yeah. So you remember the guy that got drugged in Medellin, Colombia?
Yeah,
And
yeah, I know who it is.
he got on Razor Race panel and all. But yeah, that dude loves the snow bunnies, and he talks highly of Europe, his experience in Europe, and all that. I feel like that's the one dude you can look to as a resource. But in terms of Skyler, he talks highly of Europe. I
Mm.
mean, because I don't know if you was watching this BMT live he did with him, but he ranked Spain as his number 2 favorite country after Brazil.
Really?
And yeah, in terms of dating, like just in terms of everything, he said Brazil, Thailand, I believe, then Spain. Then he said the fourth one was, I believe, Philippines or Colombia was a toss up. He said.
Man, I heard Spain was so hard, man. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I'm
He said
surprised.
Spain. He said Spain, man. But I think it's yeah. I haven't heard too much things about. I mean, that's actually the first time I heard about Spain. Like in regards to dudes having success, it's Scholar because I also heard the same thing with Spain because a lot of guys don't be having success over there. Like I feel like most guys when they go to Spain, they actually have more success with the other tourist women compared with the local
Right.
Spaniard women. So, um,
And then, like, who else went to Europe? I mean, I know Austin spent a few days in Turkey. He was like, man, hell no, Europe not for me.
yeah,
Um, so it's one of the things. I wish the Ukraine situation was going on because I heard Ukraine. I've seen
oh
some
yeah,
Ukraine women. They are fine.
yeah.
Russia obviously got some baddies.
Mm.
It's just Ubiskin or Kasaskin. All these.
That's in Asia. I don't think that's in Europe. Those countries
Okay.
are in Central Asia, but in terms of Europe, I feel like here's the thing, man. Them Dutch women, man, they tall as shit, bro. They're like 6'1" volleyball players, kind of like
Mm,
they
mm,
tend to
mm,
have long legs. If you got certain type of women, they kind of. But I feel like out of all the European women,
mm.
I feel like the baddest are
Mm.
probably the Greek chicks because they
Really.
tend to have that dark features, that dark hair, and it's like they have that olive, so they're not super pasty,
Mm,
but they kind of like have that tanned skin going on. They kind of more melanated, so I feel like, and they tend to be more thicker.
mm.
I feel like Greek women are the baddest out of Europe.
You
Some
know,
guys, some guys love the actual the snow bunny. Like I'm talking about the lightest out of all of them, which is like Sweden, Finland, Estonia, and all that. Some guys love those phenotypes, but I like those darker featured white women, like the Italian
okay.
and the Greek women. Like I like them with brunette, little bit of dark skin.
Yeah,
So
I wonder what the because in the show I was talking with Candace Owens and the feminist. They had mentioned that in these Nordic countries, they said that they have some of the lowest STD rates,
Mm,
which I thought was kind of interesting because our hookup culture in the U.S. I see articles all the time about
yeah,
Atlanta, Houston, but they said some of these Nordic countries have some of the lowest STD rates, which which tells me, and I want to ask some of these guys, which tells me their hygiene must be on point. You don't get no fish smell. They not. You know, they. I don't know if they want you to use condoms. I don't know about that, but they're doing something to keep the STD rate down. So which is kind of interesting. You know what I mean? Like I'm a my weakness is a woman with good hygiene. Like if she smell good from her breath to her body to the body, like if everything on point, I'm just like chick is this is a good woman. Like I like I like smashing chicks with great hygiene, man. That's a very important because you're not getting good hygiene all the time in a lot of these other places. Sometimes it can be hit or miss, you know.
yeah, yeah. I haven't heard. I gotta look into that. I haven't heard too much about it, about the in terms of the STD rates in Europe. Um, but I think what's keeping a lot of people from going to Europe is just that cost aspect. I like just before I hopped on the panel, I was looking at Expedia,
Hmm.
and them prices are up there, bro. Them
Really?
prices are really up there. You paying matrix prices, basically what I'm saying.
For what, flights or hotel or like hotels?
Hotels. So you talking about if you trying to stay at a nice, decent area, and as a tourist, you want to stay at the central location where everything is walkable, and that's gonna cost you. So
I'm gonna tell you what pissed me off with
up
the
there.
hotels, man. So years ago, Priceline used to have bid. They used to have bids or price on hotels. I used to go to New York a lot, and I used to be able to because most of the time these places they accept your bid if they got low, probably low reservations. So I used to be in New York hotels. I made catch one for 65 a night in New York, which is pretty good. You know what I mean? I just throwing a number, but Priceline got rid of that bid that bid your price, man. But that was a lick. That was a lick when they had it, man. It's just that's a tough one, man. Maybe see what the passport, what a lot of us should be doing. We need to start building a relationship with these hotels and say, hey, we need some type of discount, man, because we influencing guys to travel to these countries. We need a passport bro discount, man. So yeah, man. Only thing you can save money with Airbnbs sometime, but I had he said they did that with flights too. My recent trip, so I had two experiences staying in average Airbnbs in Brazil and in Kenya, and I got you know what mites is? They like micro bugs, you know what I mean? And they form scabies, so your skin will break out. Your skin will break out. You'll have like you can break out in hives, and it's basically a different form of lice that's more common with white people. And hotels, I've never experienced like a hotel that wasn't a certain level of standard. So I'm a little more scared of going to Airbnbs now because even though it may look clean and been clean, like you don't know who stayed there before you. Certain people, I don't want to be too. I don't want to say nothing like racist, but certain people carry certain type of
Is the food that
lice.
is the food is the food that causes that certain odor, man. Is
No, not odor. I'm talking about like uh, mites. Mites are like lice. They like micro. They smaller than like what a bed bugs are.
Oh yeah, yeah. By the way, speaking of that, I heard a lot about that in France. They said some of the Airbnbs and hotel have like bed bugs on them. That's a huge problem in Paris. So and I know some people who went to Paris and got back, and they all said that Paris is dirty. It's not
It
clean.
is. It is
Really?
not clean. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Paris is
wow.
not what it used to be. It's overcrowded. They're damn near built up close to the Eiffel Tower. It's nowhere close to what you see in the movies. That shit
Wow.
is adjusted for the movies. It's a dirty ass city.
Mm. And that's the thing, man. And every time, I ain't gonna say every time, but like when you try to be cheap, you gonna run into some bullshit at an
Get
Airbnb.
what you pay for. That's what it is.
Man, listen, I stayed in downtown Nairobi at this place I ain't gonna say trying to be cheap, but it was just like I missed the flight and I had to get something quick. And I came back to the US, I was itching like a motherfucker. I'm like, God damn, like what? So hotel, I'm more if I go to Europe, I'm definitely want to stay in a hotel. I'm not trying to stay in nobody crib like
Yeah.
that. He said Paris wasn't dirty when I went, but I went during the Olympics. Okay. So the hotel, man, that's a tough. But like I said, if I gotta spend a lot of money per night for a hotel and I want to do Europe, then I'm just gonna have to stay for like because a lot of times I combo my trips, right? I may do 2 or 3 countries, so I may do like I might do a Euro country and do it with Africa. I might have a multi-city flight. Okay. I may have a multi-city flight and I may just go to an expensive country in a cheap country, so I won't be spending 200 a night on a hotel. That's the only way I could think about doing it. You know, that's the only way I could think about doing it to money. I mean, if anybody else got any suggestions, but niggas spend $5,000 tricking off in Latin America. So, and
No,
I,
I mean, here's the thing, man. And as I travel, I try to get sponsorships. I try to align myself with affiliates. If I'm traveling often, obviously everybody learns how to use their travel rewards off of their credit cards.
Mhm.
Why aren't you going consistently to the same type of hotel?
Right, that's true.
Where you build up your points and awards and different things. Like I have a card with Marriott,
Mhm.
and anytime I'm in the US, I'm staying at a Marriott resort or hotel or something like that. And as you travel, you should be trying to work in alignment. Hey, I'm going to be traveling here. Can I use my points or can I get a discount? We got to sell ourselves. White people are doing it all day long.
Yeah,
So when you're traveling, you should be like, look, I do reviews, I do this, get with the marketing department. It don't hurt to ask. If they say no, they say no. But most of the times they're looking for people to bring in a new like community. And
right.
how many brothers are traveling over there?
That's
You
true.
got
That's
enough
true.
followers, you got enough people that they'll give out perks. And sometimes it could be a slow season. Why wouldn't they give you a room for a potential of earning some of your subscriber base to come over there? It's
That's
all in
true.
how you approach it, when you're talking to your the hotels or whatever, you know.
No, that's a good point, man. I mean, because I try to fly the same airlines. I even had enough points on Ethiopian Airlines where I was able to book a free flight. I didn't even think it was possible because I was like, man, these foreign airlines they're not gonna honor points like that. I was thinking that they wasn't gonna honor
Right.
points, but I got points on foreign airlines. So yeah, that's a good idea. Frequent, try to stay at the same hotel brand and rack up them hotel points. That's a good idea.
Plus, like I say, you're a business as a YouTuber, content creator. You leverage that. Hey, I'm going to be coming into your hotel. I'd like to do, a review of the hotel and everything else and put it out to my subscriber base. Is there any way maybe I can get a free upgrade based on I'm already paying for this type of room? Maybe you can give me a little bit of an upgrade so I can show a better style of your hotel. You already paid. All you're doing is asking for a little bit of an upgrade based on what you already paid.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good idea, man.
It's
But
all
I
on how
think
you market yourself, man. I'm trying to tell you.
I think guys just have to be strategic and plan. Like if I'm planning for an expensive trip, I am I'm gonna buy things one thing at a time. Like let's say some people buy their flight first. I know some people that like to buy their lodging first, right? And you
Yeah.
just have to slowly just pay for your trip up until the point it's time to leave. Like once your trip paid for, like you Gucci, you know. Salute Malik, what's good, man?
Hey, what's up, brothers? How y'all doing?
All right.
Good,
What's
good.
going on, Malik?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I just wanted to chime in. Maybe I can add a little insight or add a little tip or a different perspective bros weren't thinking about with in terms of affording travel, I guess, making it a little lighter on your pockets. Um, yeah, Ronan made a good point about the building up relationships. I know a lot of brothers are part of groups, and we need to, I guess, pitch that to different hotels and different Airbnbs and stuff like that to cut deals with people. I think that's something that we need to really start doing as well, besides doing what you already can do outside of cutting deals like travel reward credit cards, establishing a relationship with the different
Right.
hotels, because you get more perks with the hotels than you do with the Airbnbs.
Right.
Like you get a point system, you get like free breakfast, so that's a meal or sometimes, that's a meal, so that's saving you some money right there. Sometimes they'll give you a guest depending on your status, so your guest can eat. Like if you got a little lady friend or a guy friend, whatever you got going on. They can come eat with you and whatnot. So that saves a little bit of meal and stuff like that. They also offer sometimes transport, so that might save you, especially if it's like far away and whatnot. I know some cities, the airport is a little ways from where you're staying, so that also helps as well. So I think we just need to think about it differently and just, be more
I mean,
mindful on what we're doing.
even with Airbnbs, man, I always leverage the pack. I'll go and look at what their availability is. When's the last time they had a rental? When's the last time they had occupancy? I'll look at all that and I'll go back and say, look, I could stay at a hotel for this. What's your best deal if I stay for 3 weeks or a month? And I'll walk them down. I don't pay what they ask. I never pay what they ask, bro.
Pay what
I
they ask.
always call up and average. Even the place I'm staying at right now, which is temporary, it could have cost me $1,600. I barely paid $7 per month.
So
They,
what do y'all
Yeah,
what's
I
the
think
think
about
that
that?
comes from our American
what's the
mindset,
good
though,
of getting?
Ronan.
What's the good
We're
of getting
used to like
three?
the sticker price,
Listen,
you know?
right? Listen, what's the good of getting 3 days at your rate and your house sitting empty versus me being consistently being in your property for a set flat rate? You get what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you just want to keep your property open for the happen chance that you'll get a renter on a weekend? Because they're not going to stay throughout the week. They're only going to be there for a weekend because they're doing a trip
Mhm.
or they're doing a quick weekend trip. I'm staying here consistently. You at least have occupancy, opportunity, where you're getting none if I walk away and find somebody else to take my deal.
Facts.
Uh, what y'all think about backpacking? Like hostel,
I mean, if
train
that's what you
train
want to do,
transportation.
I'm sorry, but I can't do that, man. Like, because here's the thing, guys, man. Yeah, I don't understand. Is that because what I notice is when I travel to Latin America, I see a lot of European backpackers and also Israeli backpackers, and they seem to love that. But one thing I realize is that when you backpack, you're gonna be in those shared rooms, and sometimes it'll be like
you
eight
can buy a private
beds.
room in the hostel. You can
You
get
could,
a
you
private
could,
room
you
in the
you could, you can buy a private room, but are you cool with sharing restrooms and all that? I mean,
No, the private rooms have their own bathroom. But the only thing I would say, I understand what you're saying, but the only thing I would say is if you're looking for connections and maybe future relationships, hostels, if you're a single guy, first week in a town, might be your best way of connecting and hooking up and figuring out what's going on with the town before you settle in and maybe get a hotel or maybe even get like an Airbnb for a longer stay. At least you get the lay of the land from people that have been there maybe multiple times real fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. To me personally, is like I feel like if I'm traveling abroad and I can't stay at the best out of the best area, like a luxury hotel, like for example in Colombia or Brazil or whatever, then I
Mm.
shouldn't be traveling. Like I feel like the people who backpack, they cut
Exactly.
corners and to save costs. And I'm like, what's the point of even traveling when you trying to pocket watch your own self? Like, hey, I'm worrying about this, worrying about money. Like it's just that.
Well, they're trying to go to a bunch of different countries and do a bunch of different stuff, and they're not rich, so you have to cut corners.
Let's not even say they're
You know
not
what I'm
rich.
saying?
They could be
Like, you know.
college students on a week on a monthly like walkabout. They could be college students and from very affluent families. You just don't know.
And that might be something they're trying to do. Like also, like Ronan mentioned, like building a social network. Like they're trying to travel, meet new friends. Like some people are legitimately trying to make friends around the world and just see different
See, we're
stuff.
thinking like
So,
brothers and not like
so
white folks.
hostels,
White folks
hostels are
think
perfect for
differently than
that.
we do. Right.
Yeah,
White
it
folks
won't
think
work for
differently
brothers,
than
but yeah, you're right,
right.
Ronan. Go ahead, brother.
Look at what Damien said. Damien says backpacking is cool. Don't sleep on it. You know, hostels often have their own small clubs and bars, and you get turned up. You get introduced to a lot of chicks real quick because chicks backpack. So it ain't that dangerous if chicks are up in there in the hostels thinking they're independent women.
Now I'm gonna tell y'all this real quick. When I used to travel to Latin America and I'll connect to Miami, I used to have to stay overnight, and I found like this hostel in South Beach, and it was affordable, and it was nice. It was clean. It was state of the art, and I was like, this not bad for an overnight stay. So um,
Yeah, short stint, get your lay of the land, then you start looking at where you want to settle in at. Maybe you make a fast choice and you pick like I tell everybody all the time, the walk up to this Airbnb where it looked nice and advertised well on Airbnb, the walk up is killer. You don't know sometimes the city until you're there.
that's
So
true.
you might
Right.
look for a great looking location or a great hostel, a great Airbnb, but I literally have to get off from the street and walk through a freaking a mechanic shop to get to where the actual Airbnb is. They don't show me that when I first fucking rented the place. They showed me the place.
Yeah, I
The
usually stay at
inside of it.
multiple places,
You get
Ronan,
what I'm saying? Yeah, but
to
I'm
help
just
me
saying
get
you
out
just
there.
don't know what you're getting into until you're in the town. So sometimes a hostel for the first couple of days just to kind of figure out where you really want to be. You might have some options, maybe already pre-planned, but just coming in and kind of eye spying once you hit the ground ain't a bad idea while you're meeting a couple people, maybe a chick or two in the hostel.
They say Big Mike said he did backpacking in the '90s. He said it was dope. He built bonds, made connections, and still
There
still in
you go.
touch with some of the folks, man. I just
Bonds-
gotta get good. I just gotta get good intel because when I went to Japan, right, and obviously everybody got different experience in Japan. But when I went to Japan, they was like, man, you gonna get so much love, black dudes. You just gotta go to the spots where they like black men. And not trying to discount what people have said about Japan, but I spent a hell of a lot of money with zero returns.
But here's the
You
thing:
don't
they
like
didn't tell
Japan.
you about the culture, and Japanese women are shy.
Yeah,
So if you
they're
don't
very
know the
shy. Yeah,
language and you can't
very.
approach them, they might really like your look, your style, and everything. And a lot of Japanese women do, but you can't wait on them. You got to actually walk up to them
Yep.
and kind of try to talk to them in a way. Once you see them kind of bat their eye at you or something, you have to be a little more forceful in your approach and not wait for them to say, hey, I kind of like black guys, or I'm in a black guy area. You got to kind of push your way in to their lives because they're not going to approach you. They're going to be very bashful, very, reserved,
Mhm.
and the way they show that they like you. So if you like
Yeah,
something, you got to go talk to them.
yeah, they're very. I definitely agree with that. They're very reserved and shy. Like, for example, when I was out in Tokyo, I barely seen any local dudes approaching the women out there. It's like you're not gonna see it out there. So it's like you literally got to put in the work in and do it, man.
So you Waffle was in Japan because we traveled the same time, man. That Japan was no joke, man. I was like, man, get me the fuck out of here, man. $75 for a taxi from the airport. I'm just like,
Oh
That's
man,
American.
that's like being with New York, man.
Wait. I'm confused.
Yeah.
You took taxi from the airport? You know they
no,
have one of the best
no,
train
no, no,
systems.
no, no. I didn't take the
Airport.
taxi. I didn't take the taxi.
Took the train.
Once they said the price, I said, hell no. How do I get to Roppongi from the airport? I found the way, but it was just
'Cause
the
they have a huge subway system in Japan.
Yeah, the train system over there is like one of the best. So like when I was out there, I took the train from the airport like within walking distance of where I was staying at. And the Google Maps over there works as is intended. So if it says the train is gonna arrive within 2 minutes, it's gonna arrive within 2 minutes. It's like, yeah.
Mm.
But the only downside is that the train systems they cut off at midnight. So if you out partying and all that, you're pretty much stuck, or you got to use a taxi to get back where it was at, and that's going to cost you an arm and a leg.
These hotels be raping too, because then like you be having to check in at 4 p.m., check out at 10. Like that shit crazy for two. If I'm spending 200 a night, man, I need a larger window.
And they're getting rid of the late checkout too, man. They changing things, man. Like I noticed that too. Like if you want to get a late checkout, they're getting rid of that, or if if they do make it available, you have to pay a little fee, like to get a late checkout nowadays. I don't know if y'all guys been up on that.
Hold on, let me read this real quick. You Waffle appreciate the $5 super chat. He said, I don't know, even the white guys from Europe were getting no love, and we stay in an area that's friendlier to Americans. Yeah, it was a struggle, man. But then we went to Thailand. We went to Philippines, and then we went to Thailand, and Thailand was it. That was official after that, man. Even Skylar and his buddy went to Japan and Thailand.
Yeah, they say the same thing. They say the same thing about
in the Philippines.
You said, where did we go?
Yeah.
We went to Manila.
Okay. BGC side? Which area? Because Manila, you can say Makati. Yeah, BGC, Quezon, Pasay. No, there's so many different areas that are a little more affluent to where you can get into certain clubs. Makati, yeah.
Yeah, it was Makati. I mean, it wasn't. It was better than Japan.
But if you were looking for the hookup, you needed to be in Angeles City, because that's what Walking Street is.
Yeah, I was in Angeles City last October for the first time. But yeah, if I was to do Japan again, man, I would. Roppongi wasn't that bad. Like I think I got a decent room for like $125 a night. It wasn't too bad, but we'll just have to cross that bridge. I'm open to doing the hospice.
If you ever come back to the Philippines, Subic Bay is opening back up, the naval base there.
Okay.
So Olongapo City will probably start jumping again.
Oh man.
So right off of the base, usually that city, which is Olongapo off of Subic Bay, that's going to blow up. They'll have clubs. They probably already have Americans. I know they have Americans that have already bought property, have clubs there and everything else. I know there's a huge strip club in Olongapo. Been there for a while. Matter of fact, that's where the one American was shot by the Filipino. Was right there in Olongapo.
You know what might be a good idea? I don't know if you reached out. Let's say if I knew I was staying a month in like a European city, I could probably reach out to an agent and say, "Hey, you have any corporate rentals for a month?"
Yeah, and
get a monthly rate. Maybe it could be $1,000 a month.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about with the Airbnb. I don't look for rentals off the bat. I talk to Airbnb hosts. Oh, I know your property's been sitting empty. How about I take it up for 30 days, but I'm not paying the daily rate? Fuck that. You know, what's your average going rate for the properties in your area?
Waffle said, any thoughts on Serbia? Anybody? Where's
Oh,
Serbia?
wow.
I'm not.
Nope. Never been that
It's in
far.
Europe. But there's a lot of cheap European countries that you can go to that are cost effective. I've
Yeah.
seen several YouTube videos on like 10, 15 countries that price comparable to the US dollar are very economical. And you still have the European women that are open to Americans.
That's
So
true. I will say this though, as a
I'm
content
telling you,
creator,
Ireland, you got to go to Ireland. I'm telling you, they love black men in Ireland.
I mean, you could, if you can write these off, you really kind of getting your money back if you are in a business where you can write off some of these hotel expenses too.
And you're a YouTuber.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just y'all don't do it. Most of the people that
No,
travel.
I do it.
Okay, well,
I
I'm
do
just saying, you need to teach everybody else and tell them, yo, I'm writing this shit off. All these guys that are traveling, doing all this fucking e-begging online, it's a fucking business. What the hell are you doing? And
Well,
that's
the
not
only
getting a
thing,
533. I ain't
well,
donating shit to nobody.
well, it only benefits to. Oh, I ain't gonna say it's always a benefit to write off, right? But if you don't have a 9 to 5 to bring down your taxable income, you're not. If you don't, let for argument's sake, people that don't have a 9 to 5 and they writing off, they may be reducing what they have to pay in taxes if they earn money, but it's more beneficial for me having a 9 to 5 because that brings down my taxable income, and
Well,
it could
now,
and it could possibly lead to a tax refund.
now let's take it and look at it. I don't want to go into the business aspect, but let's take it and look at it as the business, right? You're monetized,
Mhm.
right? You have YouTube AdSense money. Your outlay of your cost minus your profit or whatever you get back on YouTube AdSense writes it off as a loss. Now, you know, as a six-figure earner, you need as much write-off loss income as you do income that you make. Why? Because you get to save how much your taxable income on your 9 to 5 is if you have a loss on a side business that's an individually owned business,
Right,
sole proprietor, right? Because it's still off your same social security number. So your outlay and costs can offset your taxable income from your 9 to 5
right,
until you become profitable against your AdSense money.
exactly.
And that's how you prove it, because the IRS can't look at a YouTube video and say, you didn't go there, you didn't stay in that hotel, you filmed it all.
Yeah,
Viable proof how much you spent.
yeah.
Yeah, just
But
make sure you document everything, cause in
well, like
case
I
there is an
said, your
audit. Yeah.
YouTube videos is your documentation. You went there. Now, all you have to do is show your YouTube AdSense money from that month or whatever you made off of that video
Right.
against how much you spent. And if it shows a negative, that's a loss.
Yeah. I mean, most travel creators are traveling at a
Are
loss.
taking it as a loss, right? And they're not writing against their income that they're actually spending on the trip,
Hmm.
which
Right.
is dumb.
Yeah.
Because unless it's like a paid, like maybe
You're
conference or a
sponsored, right?
speech or something like that, or a sponsorship like that, where you physically got to go there to present, yeah, you're usually traveling at a loss.
Exactly. But nobody talks about that.
Well, yeah, nobody talks about the business side of this travel space.
Yeah. It's a lot of ways to skin a cat, man.
If
When it
you
comes
if
to
you can take 5 years to be profitable when you open up a brick and mortar location, you can take 5 years to grow your YouTube channel and not be profitable and write it against your what? Your natural income.
yeah. I think Ayamara he was giving game on to somebody. He was saying that how he started was, the little money he made off YouTube, that would be his travel budget. So if he made $300 for a month, he would travel somewhere close where he could afford to, where that $300 could
Making
he,
your
he could turn
content,
into a
right?
trip. So he,
Yeah.
he took a slow growth. I mean, everybody's slow growth, but he didn't overutilize. He didn't
Overspend
go broke.
themselves.
Exactly. He used YouTube money. He didn't use his personal money. He used YouTube money to travel, which is smart for
Absolutely.
him. Which is smart for him. They probably don't got no tax write-off system like we do.
But
Yeah.
but European travel, man, it's a wide open space. There's a lot of brothers that aren't doing it if you're just talking about the black community. But you got to understand that Europeans are traveling all over Europe themselves. So it's a new market that a lot of brothers could break into if they would get over the expense or the perceived expense of being in Europe. It
Well,
really equals
a lot,
itself out if you
a
think
lot
about
of
it.
brothers don't like going to places they perceive they're not getting, I guess, a discount per se. Like, oh, the cost of living. Like, brothers will always say what the cost of living is. Like, certain cities that are more expensive but still cheaper than the U.S. are still nice that I've been to, and I'm like, well, you might enjoy yourself. It's a little bit more expensive than the normal places that a lot of bros go, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
You
My
know.
thing is why if you're traveling, like I think you mentioned it earlier, no excuse. Why if you're traveling to Europe are you looking for sisters? Aren't you supposed to be trying to look for the whatever is local there? Why are you enjoying the sights? Why are you looking for a certain type? We put ourselves in boxes where we limit ourselves as far as meeting people and everything else by only looking for a certain type instead of being open for whatever is right in front of you.
That's a
Exactly.
good point, Damian Wilson. Like, you can create content about the hostels, maybe debunk the myth for bros, because brothers ain't
Right.
gonna see no hostels until they start seeing the footage. Then they're like, well, maybe this is an option for me. I saw, no excuse do a video about a hostel, and I can stay there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be cramped up in my bed on like, yeah, man, I'm in this
Oh, but you
little ass
understand
bed.
there's a party every you're in a hostel, there's a party every night. You got young guys and women that are backpacking. So the minute you stay in the hostel, you're instantly invited to whatever party is downstairs in the open area that's the common area.
Yeah. And trust me, if I did a hostel and I came across the chick that was worth me getting a hotel, like, I would be like, let's
That
go.
Like, you only have to stay there for like a few nights. It's not like you have to stay there the whole
right.
time. Just try it out, I guess.
Right. That's true. What about petty crimes? Like I used to hear about. I mean, I've heard like pickpocketing is still big in certain cities in Europe.
Yes.
Um, yeah, petty crimes. Like, is that something still to kind of look out for?
In Europe, yeah, I think I even did a short on a pickpocket team where it was at least a group of 5 women that surrounded this old man that had a backpack, and literally one lady would distract him while the other one was on the backpack, and one lady had a cloth that was covering the person that was actually reaching into the backpack, so you didn't see shit, and they were in and out, and then once they took whatever out the backpack, they would hand it off to yet another person that was sitting there waiting. And they just did it like it was just orchestrated perfectly. I'm like, that's wild.
I think I've
You know,
seen that, man.
yeah.
You got to be on your P's and Q's, man. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a good intel. I like to think and work my way through how to approach
And
this.
like you said, trains are available in Europe. It's a cheaper way instead of taking airplanes, unless you're just worried about time. You got time on your hands, and taking a train is cool too. You never know who you're going to bump into on the food part while you're waiting to get whatever location you're going to. They have overnight cars where you can actually sleep if you're taking a longer train ride. That's a nice way to see, and it's never been documented how many brothers you've seen on a train going through Europe.
That's true.
But to
I
answer your
might catch
question
some funny
earlier,
women that
I think
went
Ace
to Italy.
both checks in effect in both Ace Live did Spain and Portugal, so you
Right.
can check their content too. I think they both stayed at least a week or so in each country. So
And no
Like I said, I would
excuse. A
worry too
lot of
much.
European countries like Spain, In Portugal, they have like little islands and territories too that people haven't explored
Hmm.
that you can, go to. Well, at least not the bros anyway. Not that I've seen. Even the
Hmm.
bigger YouTubers as well, they haven't really touched that yet.
And what about fashion? Like, is it? Because in America, urban wear is cool in America, but if urban wear looks like you're a thug in Europe, or
Yeah, they're
you
more
gotta be more preppy.
semi formal. Where
Okay.
I wouldn't go too thuggish unless you're like in London or something, or, lit-
Right.
or literally going to a club for brothers. Then you can do your urban wear type of thing at the club. Use your club clothes. But if you're just out on the street, I just a pair of slacks, a nice shirt or a button down, and maybe a coat, a jacket or something.
They be wearing pants and like
Yeah,
collar shirts and
exactly.
whatnot. Like it'd be like business casual type is like the standard.
A nigga with some Jordans and joggers on, they walking
Oh
across the
yeah, yeah.
street.
You a beastie boy or you a thug? One of
Be like, hey, I paid 150 for these J's. What y'all talking about?
them. Hold on, let me change my avatar to the laughing one. There you go.
Oh man, I mean that's no problem. I need to go some. I haven't really dressed like to impress in a long time. I never went nowhere where I could really. I brought clothes dressed to impress, but I really didn't have a function to
Place
use
to
it.
wear.
So,
Yeah, Europe is definitely the place to wear.
hmm.
And no excuse, you can also do it by events and stuff like that. Like Europe always has like something going on, so you can
Mhm.
go to these different type of events and cover that too.
It'll be good, man. Yeah, I definitely. My countries of choice is gonna be, it's gonna be these Nordic countries, far north countries. I'm gonna start with Sweden for sure. Um, and if I could train between what is it? What is this? Sweden, Norway. I could kill two birds with one stone for real.
I'm telling you, if you want to get your feet wet with just snow bunnies that are very approachable, love black men, go to Germany.
He said
So,
start in
Go to
Germany, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
start in Germany. There's army and
I've
air
heard.
base there. I know too many army veterans that said they have kids over there, bruh.
Yeah,
They
a
got
lot
whole
of mixed.
families over there.
Have
Got
you guys
married to a
you
German
guys
chick.
checked out the German national team, the soccer team? It's
These
all full of
and
mixed kids.
German
Yeah,
women are solid, solid.
yeah.
They got bodies like sisters. They just white,
They got blondes in Germany.
I mean, that's
blondes,
that's what they know for.
brunettes, and
The
yeah,
men's
blondes and
game.
brunettes. Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah, and the good thing about Europe is like you can go from one European country to another European country for less than
right.
like $70. Like it's like I'm talking about in terms of flight, 70
Hmm.
bucks, and the train is even cheaper. They
Yeah,
even
can you
got
imagine the train
they
price?
even got first class trains where it's
Yeah,
like you got a whole bed, and it's like you going from France all the way to Italy, and you exploring, you seeing the scenery in front of you. Like you
And they
just
got
really,
a bed.
you got a
yeah.
whole bed.
They got sleeping
Oh,
cars. They have sleeping
Yeah,
cars. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that ain't bad. Especially the food. I'm sure they got some decent food on there.
yeah. Whole food car. But like I said, man, it's what you make it. You can always look at the downside. Like this is not something we're used to.
Right, right, right.
We got to come. Brothers got to come out of that shit. I'm only used to doing this. White people don't think like that. White people ain't trying to impress everybody else. They're just traveling, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know
The
niggas gonna
best
tune
way
in
they
for the.
can.
I know niggas gonna tune in for the snowboarding content, nigga. That niggas gonna be. They niggas gonna have their
man,
No,
notepads.
man, you'd be
no.
surprised,
Let,
man.
let
I
me
mean,
tell
I
you.
think
You
that would
put a
do pretty
snow
good.
bunny that's big up top and got a nice ass on a cover. They gonna tune in just to see.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They'll like it.
Yeah.
And they also got it is like, and it was not even talked about is they also got that, if you're looking for it, that, P for P action all throughout Europe. They have it all throughout
I
Europe.
mean,
And it's like, but the thing is, you don't have to do it through Europe because like the girls are approachable, regular girls are approachable. You can talk to them, and it's like you can easily date them. So it's like there's no need to do all that because there's no language barrier. Most of them speak English as their second language. The German women speak English. Dutch women speak English. Italian, same thing. So it's like you're not gonna have that language barrier. So you can just easily approach them and go from there.
Infrastructure's there, all that is,
Yeah. There was a don't do P4P in Europe. It was a waste of time. I agree.
Well, I think you could just meet a nice woman. The women are approachable, and like a lot of people have already said, and it's true. A lot of women will take you out. It's not about you having to spend money. It's about you actually asking them and them wanting to spend time with you. They value the time more than how much money you make.
Hell yeah.
I think another benefit. I think another benefit too is I haven't heard too many brothers talk about it, but they could come. You might meet somebody cool, and they might just say, I want to come to the U.S. to come see you.
Yeah. They have their own passports, all that, ready to go.
Mm-hmm. So if you got if you meet a solid chick and y'all get into a relationship situation, I mean, she can come to the U.S. visa free. It's like with no issues. I got a question for the panel. Isn't Nakneezy in Europe? I think he's married to a European chick.
Yeah, Nakneezy was on our panel just the other day.
He's married. He's married to a snow bunny, right?
He's between Europe and Thailand all the time, most of the time, jumping back and forth. He just talked to me the other day.
Yeah.
But,
he's out here. He's in Europe. He's in Europe as well. I know Osha used to live in Poland. He said that was cool, but yeah, man, I'm gonna do it, man. It's been I've been avoiding it, and but
you can always call your boy B-Dub up. He's always all over Europe.
He's a good person. I'm gonna have to get him on a stream, man, because he'd be excited about talking about Europe. Man.
Yeah.
And see, you're not a cheapy kind of guy, so he ain't gonna be, clowning you if you're willing to spend the money. You know what I'm saying? He'll tell you exactly where to go. Because B-Dub don't live on a low scale. He lives on a little bit upper scale. That's why he talks down to a lot of these cheap travel guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna do Germany, man. I guess I'm not gonna do Germany by itself. I'm going to Sweden.
Oh, start like I said, baby steps.
Yeah.
When you talking about going?
Man, I mean September would have been an option. The only thing about the northern countries is that their seasons are like they're like ours, so it's
you can catch a snow season. Yeah, you wait too long, you catch their snow season. They'll be full of snow, white caps. They'll be skiing. You want to meet a snow bunny? You're gonna actually meet them in the snow on a mountain somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I forgot to tell y'all. We got somebody in the travel space that actually was born in Germany, right?
Oh, for real?
Style King Marco. King Marco.
Really?
His dad is an army major or something like that. He was an army brat. He was born in Germany.
Okay.
On an army installation. So even though he's an American, he was born in Germany.
Okay. Yeah, man. I want to try.
You gotta go soon, so you don't be in that snow.
I know. My one guy was trying to get us to go in February, man. I was like, bro, it's gonna be
so cold.
It's still gonna be cold there.
But he was like, man, it might be sweet for us because they might be online, they may be bored, it may be more
they have a lot of vacation time, believe that. On their hands.
Yeah.
Whew.
Europeans definitely believe in giving their people vacation time.
I feel like the September should be the last time period you should hit it over because they're like their seasons, as Roland said, is pretty much similar to the States. So if you're gonna hit it, you might hit it during that time period. But then you got
plus you're talking about all northern countries, all of them shit cold when it's winter time. You better take your parka, take all your Philly gear, and then winter, okay, because you won't need it all.
and it gets dark quick. Like he talking about 4 p.m. Like 4:30 p.m.
I think in Greenland during a certain time of the year, I think the whole thing of the travel thing is it doesn't get dark because it's closer to
Yep.
the polar cap. So there's a certain place in Greenland or somewhere like that where it never goes dark, like in Alaska, where it takes forever to go dark for a certain amount of months. And there's a certain spot in Greenland or Iceland or wherever you can time it in that time of the year. It never gets dark. It stays light the whole time.
You know, one thing I noticed about at least white girls in the U.S. because I got guys they're older than me. White girls never ask how old you are. As long as if they find you attractive,
don't give a fuck. Don't care about that.
You know, these black chicks in the U.S. You know, they're like, how old are you?
The other part is the Russian women, Ukrainian, Poland women. Oh my God, they love brothers too.
Man. He said, no wonder the Europeans go to West Korea.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. They do. They in Thailand too. These white
Thailand too heavy. The Russian mob is all over Phuket. They damn near running Phuket. That's why they're trying to run them up out of there. Russians are out of hand. You know, Chinese are also in Thailand. They run a lot of games and scams right along in the Philippines too. A lot of Chinese. Matter of fact, they just found out there was a mayor in the Philippines that was perpetrating as a Filipino, but she was Chinese national. And somehow she had the paperwork where she got elected, and they realized she was a Chinese woman, and they finally caught on to it, and they kicked her out of the office.
That's crazy.
So how many countries are you planning to hit? No excuse, like is it
when, like this year or September? Or
it's in Europe. When you go to Europe.
When you go to Europe.
Well, if I do Germany, then I'm gonna do Germany and Sweden. I'll do 2 countries at a time.
Okay, I mean they're pretty much close to like literally that's gonna take you less than an hour flight because Germany, Sweden is
or train ride.
Or train ride, yeah.
And you might be able to stop off in another country or two. Some rides you're gonna have to go through 1 or 2 in order to get to the other.
Yeah, if I could hit multiple, yeah. I mean, I could do 2. I could do 3 a days, 2 or 3 a days if I really want to go hard and visit a lot. But 2 or 3 tops. You know, I keep it at that per trip. But but yeah, I'm gonna get ready to end the stream. I got a question, man. Do y'all think Europe is gonna be the next wave, or you think it's already the new wave right now?
For real travelers, Europe is always open. For cheap, economical, wanting to skate by type of travelers, weekend warriors, hell no, they're not spending that money to go to Europe.
Yeah, and a lot of
that separates a real traveler versus the weekend warrior type of dude.
Yeah,
going to Europe and places like that. Nah, you ain't no weekend warrior doing that.
Nah, I don't think Europe's gonna be the new wave. Not for travel bros.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because they like they don't want to spend a little bit more to get a little bit more. You know, like shoot, I don't even know if they'll go to Africa like for other reasons. So why would they go to Europe?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Do y'all think
Europe, they might as well go to Africa, you know, in terms of distance, because that's the excuse they'll use. Oh, you know, it's the distance plus the cost. But you know, Europe, they'll use the same excuse. Oh, it's far and it's expensive.
You ain't gonna get no begging from Europeans. I don't sense that at all.
You're not gonna get too much begging, but like people are gonna complain about how expensive things are. Like, oh, I don't get like a good exchange rate. You know, they'll start talking that talk.
That's a good point. David said, just don't sleep on hostels, especially if you don't have a solid pre-game plan. The hostels are like pipelining because they have local employees who can give you all the info. Yeah, that's a good tip.
That's a good tip. Yeah.
Tell them, Damon. Tell them, man. That don't sleep on the hostel, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
I mean, I might not do a hostel in like Africa or something, but Europe. Like, I think Europe might be okay. You know.
Yeah. And also, don't sleep on those train rides, man, because like you get to meet from interesting people all around the world.
Yeah.
It's like you can form connections, you can form bonds, and they
Uh,
can give you all the game. Like you see what I'm saying? It's like
Listen, while I was acclimating to the Philippines, I stayed in BGC. I would go over to Coffee Bean or Starbucks in the morning. I just happened to go in a Coffee Bean one morning, and I seen two Arab-looking guys sitting there. They both had their laptops flipped up, and I was sitting there going through my phone, checking my messages, and I heard him talking about ChatGPT, and I kind of perked up and looked at him. Started talking to the dude. The guy has over 1 million plus fucking followers on YouTube. His name is actually Arab. He has his own YouTube channel that's over 1.3 million followers. We sat there and talked for about an hour and a half. You never know who you run into.
facts.
You know what I mean? And he has his own website to where if you get kicked off of YouTube, you can go on his website and he has extreme shit. Damn near anything goes on his YouTube channel or his own private TV channel. So I mean, I'm like, damn, the fuck. So we just had a conversation, you know. So you never know who you're on. So you're on a train ride, you just never know. Especially if you're walking around with your camera as a YouTube content creator, brother traveling on a train across Europe. That's a whole story in itself.
That
What
is.
got you into, you know?
Yeah.
Well, cool, fellas, man. Well, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I am going live tomorrow, doing a different topic. Should be pretty interesting tomorrow evening. But yeah, man, I
Yeah, you
appreciate
haven't
y'all
been
coming.
doing your Afro Sundays in a while, bro.
Yeah, I'm doing the Afro Sundays tomorrow, man. It should be interesting.
All
He's
right.
saying tomorrow, you know, it's already Sunday for me, right?
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, it'll be tomorrow, an hour from this time right now. So
Yeah, it's 5:52 in the morning. I just couldn't sleep. I'm still not used to sleeping through the night yet.
oh man. But yeah, I'm gonna get out here, fellas, man. Appreciate y'all coming up, man.
All right,
I
brother.
appreciate you, man. Take care.
All right, all right. But yeah, man, appreciate y'all tuning in, man. So the Snow Bunnies are official for Passport Bros 2.0, man. I'm gonna check out Europe, man, and see what it do, man, along with Africa. So, man, stay tuned. Tune in tomorrow. Peace out.